Chain should be used for heavy loads where the load remains rigid and will not crush or settle down during transport. You may also need to protect the load from damage by chains with corner protectors, such as the ones that we've got in place at the moment. They can be metal, they can be plastic, bit of cardboard, any kind of packing or dunnage may assist. Smooth or rounded corner protectors will enable high tension to be achieved on the load and will improve restraint on the load. When throwing chains over the load, firstly, make sure there's nobody on the other side. If you can't make sure there's no one on the other side, we can just tie the chain to a rope and drag it across, which is what I've done here. I've already got the rope attached to the other side. I'm just going to put the rope through the hook, stick the rope up there and move to the other side of the vehicle and pull it across. Okay, I'm dragging the chain across the top of the load, giving myself enough to work with. What you're not using, put it up on the tray so you're not holding that weight the whole time. This point here is called a dropper. That's where there should be an RSJ or a solid I-beam running underneath the steel tray. It is the only place you should be chaining or using chains. This is not good. This is for ropes and straps, not for chains. Only here. If you have a look under here, there's an I-beam under there that makes it a very strong point. So, again, round from the front, round from the back, up to the front, chain pulling against the back of the hook, so hook like that, so the chain's pulling against that. Rest it on the deck. Back to the other side. Okay, here's the chain on the side of the truck where we're going to provide tension. So, just pulling it out of the bucket. This is a great way to store your chains, by the way. It really looks after them. Okay, make sure there's no knots or twists in the chain. What you're not using, put up on the tray while you're not using it. Again, we're looking for this dropper. That's where that I-beam or RSJ runs all the way under the tray. Behind the dropper, back onto the, give yourself enough. Everything's up here. Next step. These are an old cantilever type called a dog. The new ones, or the more modern ones, are these. These things allow you to control the tension both on and off. These things, that's a whole nother story. You can hurt yourself. I strongly recommend, if you've got these in your yard, swap them out for these. I've seen people severely injured and disfigured using these. Make sure you've got plenty of thread out. These are a little bit more time consuming, but they do offer a much greater level of safety than the old cantilever type. Okay, nice and high on the chain, at the top, down the bottom as well. Give yourself some room to move. Simply tighten. So you can see the threads, both ends are getting shorter. And the chain, the tension's starting to come up on it. You can feel the tension increasing. That's going nowhere. Put that down and out of the way if you can. With the rest of the chain, wrap it around. That's going nowhere. Make sure the load won't crush or settle after the chains have been tensioned. If the chains lose tension or go slack, they won't properly restrain the load. As with any load, regularly stop and check tension on the restraints and make sure the load is not shifting during transport. Okay, to remove this chain from the load, simply make sure that this is in the correct position, the undo position, and start to release the tension. As you can see, this is very controllable, unlike the old Death Adder here. Once you've got enough play, release your tension off the top. Again, voila.